So is this the summer of the Legacy comic for Rowdy patrons? Well, maybe not, as we still have a month to go, but for now let's focus on the present, which is taking us about 500 years into the past. Yes, Hagar the Horrible even got an animated special back in the late 1980s, which I believe actually aired immediately after the Blondie's second wedding special we covered last time. At least I seem to recall watching both on the same recorded VHS tape, but maybe my brain got rotted out from eating too many striped Chips Ahoy's back then. But just in case you don't know, Hagar the Horrible is basically if you made a family sitcom that took place in the Dark Age time of the Vikings. Imagine The Simpsons if the father's job was pillaging and ransacking other countries. And yes, I'm willing to bet that the strip has been as historically accurate as Disney's Pocahontas, but like that movie, I'm just going to ignore it for creative entertainment's sake. So let's take a look at what Hanna-Barbera's one-shot adaptation of Hagar the Horrible was about.
The Vikings were some of the most powerful men on Earth. They were uncultured. They were illiterate. They didn't wash. They were barbarians. And apparently they were pretty proud of all this.
Their descendants now live in Alabama. The story here starts with Hagar the Horrible about to return home after a long business trip of pillaging and plundering.
I, for one, am looking forward to it. Hamlet!
It says Viking Academy Award, Most Promising Barbarian.
Honey! Olaf!
We're engaged.
My daughter's marrying a great Viking, and my son's gonna be a great Viking. Helga!
You're home late from work again? Hagar, you were due back 3 months ago.
Come on, you know what traffic is like on the North Sea this time of year? So not exactly a big surprise here. Hagar soon finds out at dinner that things aren't quite what he expected them to be. The son Hamlet has started reading books and doing homework on poetry, while the daughter Honey, well, she is engaged, but her fiancé isn't quite what Hagar expected.
This is Loot.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, if you don't like him singing, you don't want to know about his get-togethers with friends where they pretend to buy up property and build houses on them.
I come home after a short 2-year business trip, and what do I find? My son's reading books. And my daughter's engaged to a guy from the wrong side of the fjord.
The next day, Hagar and his sidekick Lucky Eddie go looking for answers. First at the Viking Academy.
Hello, Hagar. Hey, aren't you Lucky Eddie?
That's right.
It's okay, he's with me.
Hamlet flunked out of the Viking Academy. Here is his report card.
What's it say?
I don't know either, but people who read tell me it's bad.
Wait, so wouldn't that mean the Viking Academy has to have someone who knows how to read, not to mention write up such a report card? I'm guessing that guy isn't even getting paid minimum wage. Suddenly the Dark Ages don't seem that different from present day.
But Hagar, I didn't drop Honey. She dropped me.
She what?
She said I was greasy and that I have bad manners.
Yeah, so?
Well, that's just it. She said it like it was a negative thing.
Yep, definitely a precursor to Alabama.
What's happened to my family?
Oh, Hamlet flunked out of Viking Academy, and Honey dumped her fiancé for a musician. Boy, where have you been all day?
So now Hagar decides the only thing he can do is take charge of his family.
Honey, I forbid you to marry any man who can't meet Viking standards. So forget your engagement to that weird guy, Loot.
Huh?
Hamlet, I forbid you to read any more books until you improve your Viking skills and the Viking Academy agrees to take you back.
You know, if this special was made 30 years later, these two would immediately go to some medieval version of Twitter to gripe about their dad not understanding them. Just because. Instead, they decide to try and do what is needed to make Hagar happy. So Hamlet starts trying to train as a Viking. You can probably guess he turns out even worse at the job than Lucky Eddie. At At the same time, Honey tries to teach Loot here how to be more uncouth, shall we say. At the same time that Hagar invites a whole bunch of gentlemen callers for her to dinner. When Loot tries to fit in with them, yeah, it doesn't work out so well. They're shocked that a guy would actually bathe and use manners. Insert your own jokes about nerds at Comic-Con here.
Not the head! Not the head! Thanks. I appreciate it.
And then Honey does this.
Hey, come on, not so rough!
Get out!
Who'd want to be married to her?
I'm guessing at least half my viewing audience, huh?
But I thought everything was going so well. I found a real man for you.
I don't want a real man. I want Loot.
So seeing as how his whole plan worked about as well as the charge of the Light Brigade, Hagar goes to drown his sorrows at the bar. See what I mean about this being the Dark Age Simpsons?
Where did I go wrong? It's not you, Hagar. You set a good example. I mean, we don't call you the horrible for nothing. Face it, you just got weird kids. Weird?
Yeah. Hey, maybe that's what you should call them. Honey the Weird and Hamlet the Weird.
So my son reads books. Just because we don't know how doesn't mean it's not worthwhile. And Honey's found someone she loves and who loves her. She's lucky. A lot of people never find that.
Okay, when I first watched this, I thought this turn on Hagar's personality just comes the frack out of nowhere. But the more I think about it, maybe it does make more sense. It's like Hagar was telling himself this in his head the whole time and just refusing to listen. But once other people started ridiculing his kids, he couldn't deny it any longer.
My kids aren't weird. They're just different. And don't you forget it.
So the rest of the third act is about Hagar stopping Loot from literally running to parts unknown and getting him back together with Honey, and then telling Hamlet that it's okay to pursue his dream as well.
Well, we've really done it.
Done what?
Opened the floodgates, that's what. Pretty soon there won't be any standards at all. Girls will be trying to marry guys with brains instead of brawn. Kids all over the world will be reading books and doing homework. Can you imagine what kind of society we'll have then? It all started here, and it's on our heads, Helga.
Give it until about the early 21st century and things may start reverting back. When I first watched this special as a kid, I thought it was okay. But now after looking it over again, it's actually a lot better than I remembered. At first it can come off as poking fun at what was considered normal society centuries ago, but underneath that is the evergreen message about the older generation needing to come to terms with changing times, having to accept that your kids just might not be interested in the type of life you lived and have a desire to change the world. That's not a bad thing despite what you might think at first. The special actually comes off as a lot deeper than I remember the comic it was based on, and that's what can happen when you can tell a story in one half-hour segment instead of a 3-panel strip. Of all of the comic strip adaptations that only got a one-shot special in the 80s, this might have been the best one of them all. And so far this summer, we've seen some pretty good comic strip animated specials. Maybe we can even end it on as high a note as possible. What are we ending it on? Ah!